time when David was there, facing the possibility of death, greatest belief, and when he was in the cave, he did this song that's now called, it's Psalm 142. And I don't know if it's ready, but this is set to music.
Amen.
And I was just compelled because people in Afghanistan are on my heart.
Amen.
Cry out to the Lord. With my voice I ask for mercy. Pour out all my griefs. Set my troubles before thee. My spirit deep within me. It is you, my way. Hidden snares are set before me. In the path where I walk, look to my right and see. There is no one who takes notice. No refuge remains to me. No one cares for my soul. I cry to you, oh Lord. With my voice I ask for mercy. It is you who are my portion in the land of the living. Listen to my cry, for I'm in desperate need. Set me free from this prison, that I might praise your name. Bring me out of this prison, that I might praise your name. Let the righteous hand surround me, deal bountifully.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Jeff.
Amen.
And now I'm very honored to introduce my good friend, my brother, our pastor, to his own pulpit today.
Amen.
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
As Pastor Pinnett comes forward and stands to my right, I invite you to consider these words. I asked him if he had some words to share, and we agreed that he would not speak at this time. But the very first assignment I can give him is to stand right there on the spot. The mission of the Southeastern California Conference of Seventh-day Adventists is the expansion of God's kingdom through preaching and living the everlasting gospel by women, men, in the cross-cultural setting of our territory of Imperial County, Orange County, San Diego County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, which is the largest county in the United States of America.
Amen.
That's the territory. And we're right here in Riverside County, right next to San Bernardino County, where the Yucca Valley Church is. The Southeastern California Conference has chosen to assist the Desert Hot Springs Seventh-day Adventist Church in the expansion of God's kingdom here in Desert Hot Springs by sharing human resources, including Pastor Anthony Pinnock, who stands before you, on loan to the Desert Hot Springs Church as an interim associate pastor.
Amen.
We appreciate the conference administrator's generous, prayerful act. So I would like to introduce officially Anthony Pinnock, pastor,
Amen.
associate pastor of the Desert Hot Springs Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'd like to introduce him as an old-fashioned pastor in a modern contemporary society.
Amen.
As I read the following passage from Ephesians chapter 4, think of Anthony Pinnock, pastor at Desert Hot Springs Church. I beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with lowliness, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing, in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope. The Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God, and Father of all, who is above all, through all, and in you all.
Amen.
But unto everyone is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ. And he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors. He gave 2 pastors to Desert Hot Springs.
Amen.
What a blessing.
Amen.
As we continue to look at the old-fashioned preacher, I think of Moses. Now, Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law. In Exodus 3, we find that he led the flock to the backside of the desert. Have you ever felt like you're in the backside of the desert? Well, come to 29 Palms and you will see the backside of the desert. And he came to the mountain, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
Amen.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called on him out of the midst of the bush and said, Anthony, Anthony. And he said, here am I.
Amen.
And God said, draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon you standeth is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am God of thy father, Jeroboam.
Amen.
I am God of thy father, and God of Abraham, and God of Isaac, and God of Jacob. And Anthony was afraid to look upon the Lord. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of the people in Desert Hot Springs.
Amen.
Come on.
Amen.
And I've heard their cry. I know their sorrows. And I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, to bring them up out of that land into a good land, flowing with milk and honey.
Yes.
And Anthony said unto God, who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And God said, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. Anthony said, well, when I come unto the children of Israel, what shall I say to them in Desert Hot Springs? And God said unto Anthony, I am that I am.
Amen.
Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Desert Hot Springs. And God said moreover unto Anthony, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob has sent me unto you. This is my name. Go and gather the elders together in Desert Hot Springs, and say unto them, the Lord God your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob, appeared unto me. I certainly visited you, and seen what is done in Desert Hot Springs, and I will bring you up out of the affliction. And Anthony said, well, what if they don't believe me or listen to my voice? And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? He said, a rod, a stick. And God said, cast it on the ground. He cast it on the ground. It became a serpent, and Anthony ran away from it. You may be dismissed this time. God bless you greatly in your ministry.
Amen.
Who am I that I should go to the people? Who am I to tell Pharaoh, let the people go? Who am I that I should respond to God? And God replied, I will go with you. Let's walk together, you and me. And we still say, who am I? Who am I? I'm a single mother. Who am I? I'm a dad just trying to make finances meet. Who am I? I can barely keep food on the table. Who am I? I have bills stacked so high you can't see the top. And God's response is, I will go with you. Ministry is always the divine coupled with a human journey. Your God asked you to be an old-fashioned preacher like Anthony Pinnock. Your job is to go and preach. So go preach. Go preach your best sermon, and don't use words. If you do use words, people will think that your words are foolishness. Take a moment and look at 1 Corinthians chapter 1. When people have a belief and someone else has a conflicting belief, the opposing belief is often labeled foolishness. 1 Corinthians 1, and let's take a look at a short passage that begins with verse 17. 1 Corinthians 1, beginning with verse 17. For Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of Christ shall be made of none effect. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disrupter of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. The foolishness of preaching. Yes. Sometimes people ask me what I do, and I give them a foolish answer in response. I tell them I work for Global Enterprises. I say it's a subsidiary of Universal Concerns. Yes. Sometimes they'll say, well, what do you actually do? I say, well, Global Enterprises has outlets in nearly every country of the world. We have hospitals and hospices and universities and homeless shelters, and we do marriage work, and we have orphanage, and we do feeding programs and educational programs and reconciliation types of things. Basically, we look after people from birth until death. And we deal in the area of behavioral alteration. Global Enterprises is otherwise known as the church. And if you're looking for a perfect pastor, look no further. I please everyone. I preach exactly 20 minutes. Everyone is convicted. No one is offended. I work from 6 a.m. to midnight. I'm involved in every aspect of counseling and custodial work. And I'm tall, I'm short, I'm skinny, I'm heavy-set, one brown eye, one blue eye, hair parted down the middle, straight hair on one side, wavy on the other. And I have the burning desire to work with seniors, but I spend all my time with toddlers. I invest 25 hours a week in sermon preparation, 25 hours a week in counseling, 25 hours a week in meetings, 25 hours a week in visitation, 25 hours a week in emergencies, 25 hours in funerals and weddings, 25 hours in correspondence, and 50 hours in creative thinking. Always in my office, always in meetings. My 25 kids are all perfect. My spouse plays the keyboard. I'm always in the next town over. Gifted, talented, popular, compassionate, level-headed, caring. To sum it up, I have no faults. So if your pastor doesn't measure up, send this self-generated job description of your pastor to 6 other churches that are tired of their pastor too. Then bundle up your pastor and send him to the church at the top of your list. If everyone cooperates, in 1 week you will receive 1,643 new pastors. One of them should be perfect. One church broke the chain and got its old pastor back in less than 3 months. The foolishness of preaching. One church, that I will not mention the name, received the following application in order to try to fill a pastoral vacancy. Dear Search Committee, Understanding that your church pulpit is vacant, I would like to reply and submit my application for the position. I'm over 50 years old and have preached in several places for more than 3 years. I have many qualifications. I've been a preacher with much success, and I've been a successful writer. Some say I'm a good organizer. I've been a leader in many places where I've been. I've had some trouble with the law, and I landed in jail a few times. But it was not because of any wrongdoing. My record, though, keeps on following me. I know that hiring an ex-con is risky, so please pray over the matter and know full well I'll make adjustments and apply elsewhere if I'm not selected. My health has not been so good, but I can still accomplish a lot of things. Most of my ministry has been small group ministry, but I'm not fearful to speak in larger groups. I'm not perfect in keeping records and have forgotten even some that I led to the baptismal tank. Well, if you think you can use me, I promise I'll do my best. Sincerely, Apostle Paul.
Amen.
In a second letter, it reads like this: Dear Jesus, son of Joseph, in care of Woodcraft Carpenter Shop, Nazareth, 92544. From the Jordan Management Consultant. Dear sir, this memo thanks you for submitting the resume of the 12 individuals you picked for management positions in your new organization. All of them have taken our battery of tests. Not only have we run results through our computer system, we also have arranged personal interviews for each one of them with our company psychologist, as well as our vocational aptitude consultant. Our general statement is as follows. It is our opinion that most of your nominees are lacking in education. Most of them lack pastoral experience, and most of them lack a vocational aptitude for this type of enterprise. They do not have a team concept. We recommend that you continue your search for individuals with suitable management skills and natural ability and higher educational degrees and experience. Oh, and the man named Peter, he scored extremely high in the emotionally unstable category, given to fits of temper. And Andrew demonstrates no qualities of leadership. And the other two brothers, sons of Zebedee, John and Jim, they place their own personal interests above company loyalty. And Thomas demonstrates a questioning attitude that would tend to undermine the morale of the company. Matthew has been blacklisted by the Jerusalem Better Business Bureau. Thaddeus has some racial leanings. James, the son of Alphaeus, has registered high on the manic depressive scale. Oh, one of the candidates, however, shows great potential. He's a man of ability and talent. He is quite resourceful and meets people well and has a keen business sense. He has contacts in high places. He's highly motivated, ambitious, and responsible. We highly recommend Judas Iscariot as your controller and right-hand man. All other profiles are self-explanatory. We wish you success, Jesus, in your new venture. Sincerely yours, the Jordan Management Consultants. But 1 Samuel 16:7 reminds us that God looks at things from a different perspective. Amen. Man looketh on the outward appearance, but God looketh on the heart. Amen. Preachers are called by God. Amen. They cannot forget, never forget, to listen to God above all others. Preachers must speak for God. And they're to sow seeds of doubt in unbelievers. Yes, God calls and people respond. And through preaching, God rattled the world. The world, through preaching, was rattled. As the light shines in darkness, Pastor Anderson, men, women, children experience a confrontation with God. The divine commission must be accepted and carried out. Fight the fight, finish the race. Pass the stick to the other runner so he can carry it further. Use your spear to fight the fight of faith. Use the sword of the Spirit. But if you've dropped your spear, if you've lost your sword, pick up a stick. What's in your hand, Pastor Pinnock? A stick from the desert. Moses had a stick, just a stick. Pharaoh's magicians were confounded, confused, conquered, overthrown by a stick from the desert. The stick represented God's power, just a stick. The waters of the sea parted by a stick from the desert, just a stick. God's people were led from slavery to freedom by a stick. Just a stick. What's in your hand today? Throw it down. Throw it down. What's preventing you from teaching the gospel? What's preventing you from preaching the gospel? What's preventing you from living the gospel? Throw it down. Oh, Moses, way back there in the wilderness, saw some smoke, came to a bush, and the bush was burning. God said, take off your shoes, Moses. You're on holy ground. Moses, I've chosen you to be my man, way down in Egypt land. Moses, I've chosen you to work for me. Moses, I've chosen you to set my people free. Not me, Lord. So don't you know I can't talk so good? I stutter all the time. Don't you know my brother Aaron? He can sing like an angel and talk like a preacher. Not me, Lord. I can't talk so good. And another thing, how are they going to know that I've been here with you? How will they know what you sent me to do? Don't you know in Egypt they want little Moses' head? Don't you know in Egypt they want little Moses dead? Not me, Lord. What's in your hand, Moses? It's just a stick. Throw it down, Moses. You mean like on the ground? Yes, I said throw it down, Moses. Lord, don't take my stick away from me. Don't you know it's my only security? Don't you know when you live here all alone, man's got to have something he can call his own. Not me, Lord. Throw it down, Moses. But Lord, throw it down, Moses. But throw it down, Moses. Moses threw the rod on the ground, and the rod became a hissing snake. Moses started running. Maybe you run. I know I run. He was running from a hot rod, running from a hissing snake, running scared of what God's going to do. Running scared, he'll get his hold on you. And the Lord said, stop. Pick it up, Moses, by the tail. Lord, you've not lived here very long. Lord, you got the whole thing wrong. Don't you know you never pick up a hissing snake by his... Pick it up, Moses. Oh, it's a rod again. It's a rod again. Don't you know what it means, Moses? Don't you know what I'm trying to say? The rod of Moses became the rod of God. And with the rod of God, you can strike the rock and water will come. With the rod of God, part the waters of the sea. With the rod of God, you can strike old Pharaoh dead. With the rod of God, you can set your people free. What do you hold in your hand this very day? To whom or what are you bound? Are you willing to give it to God right now? Give it up. Give it up. Let it go. Throw it down. Lord,
Amen.
help us to part with the things that get in the way of our relationship with you. Help us to throw them down
Amen.
and leave them there. Go with us until we meet again. It's our prayer in the name of Jesus. Amen.